to reverse global warming. I am not giving the gavel. I'm not giving a gavel away to a tactic that will do neither of those things. That supports the oil, big oil, at the cost, at the expense of the consumer.
So you will not permit a vote. You may get beat, but you're not going to permit a vote on your own.
Well, again, we take this one step at a time. But why we're spending all this time on a parliamentary tactic when nothing less is at stake than the planet, the air we breathe, our children breathe.
But that's what I don't understand. If you could get votes on everything else you care about, which you say there is strong bipartisan support, why not allow a vote on the drilling as well?
Because the president will not allow any of these other things to go forward. Why are we not saying to the president, why don't you release oil from the SPRO in 10 days? We can have the price at the pump go down. Why are you opposed to ending undue speculation in the oil markets? Why do you not insist that people who have leases on our land with permits ready to go use those? The oil companies don't want competition. And what we would do by saying, go ahead, give them their subsidies, allow them to drill in areas that are protected now instead of where they're allowed to drill, is to diminish all of the opportunity that we have for an electricity standard for our country, where we set out standards that makes the competition for renewable energy resources better, which says to the private sector, invest here, because there is a standard that they have to honor. If you just say it's drill, 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 what is the and we're going to subsidize it, we're going to subsidize big oil, what is the motivation for the private sector to come in and say, we're going to support these renewable energy resources, wind, solar, biofuels, plug-in cars, natural gas, and another alternative.
Let me move on to another issue. The campaign dialogue this week taken over by Britney Spears and Paris Hilton. Diane Sawyer sat down with John McCain yesterday and asked him if he would continue with ads in this vein. Take a look.
I kind of enjoy him. You got to have a sense of humor in this. You know, a few days ago, Senator Obama said he challenged me to a duel. You know, I'm for the lightsabers as weapons of choice.
But in general, the ads, the Paris Hilton, George Clooney ads are over?
Well, I don't know. We'll continue to have humor in our campaign.
Sounds like the answer to that is no. And we saw in the Gallup poll at the end of this week that, according to the Gallup poll, at least, the race is tied. Are you worried that this approach may be working?
I'm worried that this approach is not worthy of the office of president that Senator McCain and Senator Obama are running for. For Senator McCain to demean the race for the presidency in this way is, I think, not humorous. I think it's silly. But I will say this. Let's take it back to what the American people want. Who's going to create good-paying jobs in our country? Who's going to have a sane energy policy that looks out for the consumer and the environment? Who's going to educate our children? Who's going to provide access to quality health care? That's the debate we should be having. Who's going to protect the American people in a way that does not send us to a war without end? That's the debate the American people are. They're not interested in this silliness. It's beneath the dignity of the office of president to have ads like that. But you know what? It's a free world. People can do what they want, and people can make judgments about it. But I would hope that that would not be a symbol of what the campaign will look like from the McCain side, because people need real answers about good-paying jobs in America. Jobs, 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 jobs. It's a four-letter word.
Let me ask you a question about the vice presidency. Senator Obama seems to be closing in on a pick, and Newsweek reported today that you've been pushing one of your colleagues in the House, Congressman Chet Edwards of Texas. Now, not a lot of Americans know much about Chet Edwards. Why would he be a good vice president?
First of all, I support anyone that Senator Obama is comfortable with for vice president. I didn't want to see a discussion of candidates for vice president without showing the talent of the House of Representatives. Chet Edwards, for years, our colleagues have said to him, why don't you run for president? He is an extraordinarily talented person. He is the champion for veterans in the Congress. He has, under his leadership, we have passed, including just on Friday, the biggest increase in funding for veterans' health benefits and other benefits in the history of our country. He's a master of needs of our military and their families. He understands the issues of nonproliferation. He has been a champion in the Appropriations Committee and the Congress. He's from South Texas. He represents, or he's from Crawford, Texas. He represents
President
Bush in the Congress. He is as talented, as principled, as articulate a person. Well, I think, I would certainly hope so. But you know what? Senator Dodd, Senator Biden, Hillary Clinton, there's such a great array of people from whom Senator Obama can choose. So any one of them I'm fine with. I just wanted people to be aware of the extraordinary credentials of Chet Edwards, and I hope he would be the nominee.
Finally, we're just about out of time, but I want to ask you, in your book, Know Your Power, you also write about your long history speaking out against human rights abuses in China. The Olympics are coming up this week. John McCain told the Washington Post yesterday that President Bush should avoid anything confrontational as he goes to China. What do you make of that advice?
Well, I would hope, as the Congress voted overwhelmingly, unanimously, except for one vote, to say to the president, when you go to China, make sure that your presence at the opening ceremony is not misconceived as being approval of China's policies in terms of human rights in China and Tibet, and that is the view of the American people, and that he would speak out on that subject. He's the President of the United States. His presence at that opening ceremony gives him tremendous leverage to make the point. I make a distinction between what Senator McCain is. He's saying don't confront the government, but I say the president should support the Chinese people.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.